Hello champions, this is Dr. C. I want to talk about all these cancer cure hoaxes out there and how damaging and dangerous these are. I have the highest cancer patient cure rate in the world of 92.3% based on 2 independent studies done, and I'm curing cancer patients for 52 years now. I'm so tired of some so-called journalists or researchers talking to a couple of doctors and think they found out how to cure cancer. They have no idea, and what they usually suggest is absolute BS. There is this married couple that did this series on cancer, and so people thought because they interviewed all these people, they know how to cure cancer, and so they keep on buying their products and all these kind of things. I don't understand that. There's nobody, as far as I know, out there that can prove that he or she can cure cancer patients. It's the same thing with all the other hoaxes where you have all these people telling you how to get rich, and the second their book hits the market, they already filed for bankruptcy or committed suicide. And this is in the entire field of training, education, the same way. I have the results. I have provenly worked with 66,000 patients, 35,000 patients with autoimmune diseases, and I have millions of thank you letters, testimonials on video, and I'm telling you that because I'm the only one that can really tell you how to cure cancer patients, because nobody else has the results that I have. Kircha Morani from TNT Radio calls me the godfather of natural cancer cures. I've been called over and over again the voice for cancer patients because of the Cancer Patient Advocate Foundation I founded. And we helped millions and millions of people to prevent cancer or to eliminate their own cancer. And all of this is not very well known because, see, these people out there, they are saying, oh, I'm the most, or they are the most censored person or the most famous censored person on whatsoever. It's all BS, because I was the very first one that was really censored worldwide, from YouTube, from Facebook, from all the other social media platforms, because I have no understanding of how these technologies really work. So I always had nice people helping me, or webmasters or experts that did all the stuff for me. And I can tell you, I already had 77 million views on my videos before any of these people that are saying, oh, they're out there for such a long time, they're the most censored. They are not. I'm the most censored doctor in the world, and they started censoring me while I was still a teenager, talking about how I cured my mom from liver cancer in a terminal state, hepatitis C, liver cirrhosis, and a fatty liver. She had a prognosis of 6 months to live. I completely cured her. She was completely healthy and lived another 48 years after that. And it's really important for me that you guys understand where I'm coming from. All 7 siblings of my mom had cancer. My mom had cancer. All 4 grandparents of mine died of cancer. All 68 cousins of mine and great cousins died of cancer. So I finally thought there must be a way to eliminate this threat and this unfair disease from society. And I found a way. There's only one way. That's why my book, The Only Answer to Cancer, is or has been one of the most best-selling books. Now, The Only Cancer Patient Cure, my latest book on cancer, is the most sold book in that field of all times. 900 million books sold. So I can just tell you my books are up to in 29 different languages, bestsellers everywhere. And my very first book, Sie sind für Erfolg geboren, You Are Born for Success, now in English it's called You're Born to Be a Champion, is a mega bestseller worldwide for now about 50 years. And if you see my videos, if you see my seminar videos, I had 9 million live seminar attendees in my live seminars. And the comments, I have thousands and thousands of comments. A lot of them are in German language because I'm German born, and the first 10 years of my life I worked mainly in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland in German language. But there is enough. I had on Facebook, on my English Facebook site, 500,000 views a day until Facebook decided to just cut me off. And this is basically what happens to all the other channels. And then there's all these assaults and insults and lies through the mainstream media, or blocking me and defaming me. And I won every single defamation lawsuit that I ever led in my life. And there's always another hoax coming up because they cannot stop the truth. I invented the instinct-based medicine system, the IBMS system, and I believe our instinct is God talking to us. That's why I called it instinct-based medicine system. And I believe if you listen to your instinct, you will always be right. And you can easily cure yourself with the tools my IBMS system provides for you to figure out who you truly are, what you truly are, how to get rid of cancer in the wallet, meaning being broke, cancer in the relationship, meaning being lonely, or cancer in the body. It's all the same cause. And that's why my system, the IBMS system, is the science of identifying and eliminating the root cause of all negative results in a human's life. So let's start reversing what caused your problems, no matter in what part of life. And if you want to have more information, it's drleonardcoldwell.com, doctor spelled out, drleonardcoldwell.com, and you will see that what I'm doing. You see the comments and on my website, 40yearsdrc.com. It will be changed now to 50yearsdrc.com. You will see how I started out being already on stage, being extremely successful as a speaker, as a trainer, as a healer. I trained for nearly all the largest successful companies in the world, and I consulted and trained a lot of Olympic medal winners or world champions, movie stars, and I'm very proud of what I achieved, and it's all based on one single thing. When my mom was basically dying, I made a deal with God, and I said, God, if you help me to cure my mother, I will help every parents and their children to not have to go what I had to go through and my mom had to go through. And this is part of my work. I'm working to keep my promise to God. And yes, there is a God, but this is not a religious system. I do not believe in organized religion because I think it takes away the power from people and the attention to God. We need to pray directly to God and not to some wooden figures or symbols, because our belief in God gives God the strength to be there for us and protect us and help us. But this is not a religious program, but there is a God. And God is in us through our soul, and God talks to us through our instinct. We just need to learn to listen to our instinct and stop listening to the brainwashing from the mainstream media, or most of all, in this case, the medical profession. the medical profession has been taken over in the 1900s by the Rockefellers that bought off all the chemical industries and made sure that the medical schools, naturopathic medical schools, homeopathic medical schools had to be closed, and they created the chemical medical school, basically the MD as their salesperson. An MD is nothing else than a chemically trained person that's licensed by the organization that created this profession, and they don't have really any curriculum or any part of their curriculum about healing or healthy diet, natural cures. They don't, because the pharmaceutical industry that makes billions on our suffering, on our death, and on our illness and new illnesses to treat, because the great Dr. Gary Now conducted a study and concluded in a study, Death by Medicine, that the medical doctor is the main cause of death in the Western civilization, and the pharmaceutical industry the main cause of illness or new illness. So you don't want to listen to people that make their money on your suffering, on your death. That's why I always tell everybody, do not be an organ donor. This is practically one of the worst things you can do. Organs can only be taken out of a living body. And if you want somebody ripping out your organs while you're fully alive and fully aware and get no painkillers or anything, then that's okay to be an organ donor. But if you don't want to die young, die early, die unnecessarily, because you could have been saved if you wouldn't have been an organ donor and bring to the medical profession millions and millions of dollars. My dear friends, you need to understand, I'm the most, and always have been, the most censored and blocked and deleted helper or healer for cancer patients, because I have the results, and the results were spreading like crazy, and I had up to hundreds and hundreds of people trying to get into my clinic in Germany. After my book, The Only Answer to Cancer, came out, and I explained the very first time that cancer is curable, every cancer patient is curable, and how I cured every cancer patient I ever dealt with. This book is still available on Amazon, but it's not from me. I don't know who's publishing it and who is selling it. So there's a lot of information in there that is outdated, and a lot of links, referral links that don't exist anymore, but it's still out there. If you really want the newest version, The Only Cancer Patient Cure, please get it as a download from drcdownloads.com. Thank you so much. Excuse me. For me, it's really important to wake you up. There is not one single medical doctor in the world that ever cured a cancer patient, ever cured cancer, or ever could cure cancer. They have no idea what they are doing. The only thing they are doing is chemotherapy, radiation, surgery, and other symptom suppressing techniques or drugs. And of course, if you have a splinter in your finger and it hurts and you have an infection, you can take as many antibiotics and painkillers as you want, it will not get permanently better. You have to pull out the splinter, and the IBMS system is helping you to pull out the splinter out of your soul, out of your life, out of your existence. And after you find and you eliminate the splinter in your soul, everything will fall into place in a good way on its own. If there is no cause, there is no symptom. And the IBMS system is the science of identifying and eliminating the root cause of every negative result in a human's life. So, my dear friends, let's start with my most favorite subject. Motion creates emotion. That means the way you move, the way you speak, the way you gesture, the way your facial expressions are, determine how you feel. So if I sit here upright and I tie up my muscles and I look at you really straight, I instantly feel different than when I would sit here falling over, squeezing in my stomach so that I cannot breathe right anymore, and the entire situation changes. But here I am talking to you, and I tell you, no matter what problems, what challenge you have, you be able to fix it. You're the only one that can give you cancer or allow you to get cancer. You're the only one that can cure you from that cancer. So it's really, really important that you don't believe anybody can cure you. I cannot cure you. Nobody else can cure you. And most of all these loonies out there that are telling people, oh, you need to change your diet, or with a change of diet you can cure your cancer. This is the dumbest and stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I have known vegetarians that got cancer and died of their cancer being a vegetarian. So that didn't really help them. On the other hand, what's in the food is a problem. What's in our drinking water, the fluoride in the drinking water, all the toxic elements, that's the problem. That's causing or can cause cancer. But all the food additives, most of all, that are known carcinogenics, meaning they are known as causing cancer in humans, that they are still allowed in the food while they are forbidden or illegal in other part of the world. There's a lot of things that are completely forbidden in Germany in the food that you can sell here and use in the US, and I think that's an outrage. If something is recognized as cancer causing, as dangerous in one country in the world, it is illegal to use there. It should be automatically illegal to use anywhere else in the world. But the pharmaceutical industry, that's why it's called the Food and Drug Administration. Why is there one administration responsible for both the food and the drug industry? Because they're indirectly and directly connected and presenting a major danger to us. So the FDA should not exist because they basically allowed or recognized all the toxic vaccines, the potentially murderous vaccines. And I believe, my dear friends, an organization that has made so many mistakes, basically had so many drugs on the market that later turned out to be dangerous and having harmed people and harming people, and has such a success rate, so such a failure rate in this, should not exist. And most of all, why can a government organization forbid farmers to produce, use, or sell whole milk? Which I'm not a milk drinker, and because the casein is indigestible by human bodies, and the casein is the stuff that makes milk white. And I don't like milk, I don't drink milk, but that doesn't mean that the government has a right to forbid you to drink whole milk while it has a lot of benefits, or can have a lot of benefits, and getting farmers out of business just because they sell a natural, healthy element, and everything that's natural is basically good for you, or at least does not do damage. But yes, there are natural toxins and poisons and these kind of things, but that's really not where I want to go. What I want to make sure you understand, first of all, in medicine, if it didn't exist 150 years ago, you don't need it. And if it's altered or processed in food, you don't need it either. Most of all, everything that's genetically modified, GMO, is a huge problem because it turns you into GMO, a genetically modified organism, and you don't want that. So there are these hoaxes about healing through diet change, which I've never seen happening long term. You can change your diet, and because there's a dramatic change, sometimes the body has a good or bad reaction to that. But everybody that says they cured themselves by the change of food usually gets sick again later, because cancer is caused by mental and emotional stress and the poisons in our environment. But mainly, as I have proven, cancer is caused by living in constant worries, doubts, and fears, and making compromises against yourself. So basically, you need to learn to stop doubting yourself. You need to learn to stop questioning yourself. You can do everything. You are born to be a champion. And I believe that. You're born for success. You're not born for mediocrity. You're not born to suffer. You are born to be happy, healthy, and successful. And you are the one that determines what direction you are going. If you give up on yourself, you die. If you give up on fighting back, you die. Or you are broke and you get really bankrupt. Because all of this is connected. Your attitude, your expectation, the picture you create in your mind about yourself, how you see yourself when you think about yourself. Just close your eyes and think about how you see yourself. Do you see yourself strong and powerful? Do you see yourself weak and shallow breathing and having a sad expression in your face? Or do you see yourself powerful, smiling, your eyes strong and powerful? This is basically how you need to see yourself. The very first step to get better, no matter from what situation in life, is to move with power, to move with strength, to turn up your muscle tension once in a while, to move forward. Whenever you get scared of something, step forward, even if you step forward mentally and not really literally physically, and you will feel better. If you step backwards, you feel instantly weaker, but you need to feel stronger. You need to go towards the obstacle. You need to eliminate the obstacle. And the obstacle is usually senseless fear. The other main cause is, in my book, Stress, the Root Cause of All Disease. Very strongly, very clearly explained, because I'm writing books for people and not for colleagues, or not to show off. My books, as I learned from my very first educator, Zig Ziglar, the greatest motivational and personal development trainer I have ever met in my life. And he said, you need to write on a 7th grade level. If a 7th grader does not understand what you're writing, don't waste your time, nobody will. So all my books are written in a way that you're able to understand and use what I'm suggesting. My book, How to Survive Your Illness and Your Doctor, got me the first time in real big trouble worldwide with an assault from the medical profession and of course the pharmaceutical industry. Because if you just realistically look at the side effects of any drug, you will usually get a huge piece of paper with a huge amount of possible side effects, and you will see that cannot be good. The problem really is, how can something that has more known side effects than known or proven positive effects on the body or human health be good for you? I don't think so. I personally don't take medication. I personally don't go to a doctor. I have no yearly physicals, which is absurd in my opinion. Then the other problem is the so-called early detection hoaxes, like mammographies, colonoscopies. This is all just patient recruitment, patient creating tools so that somebody is completely healthy. Why, if you're completely healthy and symptom-free, would you go to a doctor that lives from your illness, your pain, your suffering, to find out if you're really healthy or as healthy as you think you are. That's how it all starts with a yearly physical. So my son is now 14 months old. He has not been exposed to any vaccine or medical intervention in any form. He has never been sick. And that will stay and be that way. And I personally have never been falling for the COVID scheme. I never wear a mask. I never got vaccinated for anything. And I'm completely healthy. I'm 67 years old and I'm absolutely fine. So for me, it's really important that you understand if there is some clown out there that just did some interviews with doctors that had some kind of success and then present themselves as knowing how to cure cancer or how to be an expert, don't fall for these things. They don't know, they have no idea. And usually these gayish kind of guru types that want to follow the footsteps of Jesus are the most dangerous because not everything can be fixed with love, and you have to be strong, and your doctor has to be strong. The person that's working with you has to know what he or she is doing and be a strong person. You cannot be a wimp and like back somebody into health. No, you have, as a doctor, you have the responsibility to be as strong and knowledgeable as possible, to know every single thing you can know about natural cures, natural healing, or health. It doesn't matter what you know about illness, because you don't want to produce illness, so you don't need to know anything about it. What you need to know about, what you need to learn about is what health is. Health is the optimum function of our entire system. Health is having a clear mind, a positive mind, a great attitude, and a great expectation for your future. If you think you have to, it's a death trap. We know through studies that people that love their doctor die young, because if the doctor says you have 3 months to live, they die on time to not prove the doctor that they like wrong. This is just how strong our mind works. It's kind of like a placebo effect in a negative way. And see, a placebo effect is based on your own belief system. That's how voodoo works. So the voodoo priest scares the person and then places the so-called spell, which is absurd, which doesn't exist. But they have to tell them up front, long time up front, when the person is going to get sick, what they're going to have, or when they are dying, so that the subconscious mind, out of fear, starts working on the realization, of course subconsciously, of that spell. That's why I think it's very, very dangerous for doctors to tell their patients, you have 6 months to live, 9 months to live. And this is basically what I dealt all my life. When patients ended up in my hospital in Germany, they already came fully therapied with all the dangerous things like chemo, radiation, and surgery. And then they came and they said, my doctor said, I have 3 months to live, 6 months to live, 9 months to live. My very first statement was, what do you want to do in 3 years? Where do you see yourself? What's your goal? What are you going to do in 3 years at your next birthday party? And people just stare at me and they think, this guy's completely crazy. I just told him I have only a couple of months left. No, you don't. You can live as long as your genes provide for. And longevity has really nothing to do with your diet. Your energy level has to do with your diet, or how fast you recover, or how fast you die, but not really with anything that has to do with longevity. Your genes determine how long you live and nothing else. So always denying yourself your most favorite food and doing all this exercise stuff will not keep you live longer. And I've never really seen a happy jogger. When you see them jogging, they always have this grumpy face, exhausted. And I was over 30 years in full contact martial arts, and I loved it, and I did it because I'm a fighter and I love to fight, and I wanted to learn to fight to protect my mom that was basically anyway dying, and then my alcoholic father was beating her, sometimes unconscious, and all I was thinking about, I'm going to get this guy, I'm going to protect my mother. And starting the age of 7, I trained 6 hours a day. And I learned how to defend myself, I learned how to defend my mother. And when I was finally really ready to take on my father, he died of stomach cancer. And I could have saved him, of course, but I never would have. I believe in revenge. I believe in getting even, because if you swallow all the negativity, or somebody betraying you, cheating on you, doing some harm to you, backstabbing you, and you do this Christian blanket of "I forgive you," this is pretty much the dumbest thing you can do against your health. Because getting even feels good, and in the IBMS system, I'm going to teach you how you can forgive somebody without literally being in the presence of this person and let go of the problem. It's like having a splinter in your finger and you just push it deeper in and think because you don't see it, it's not the problem. The problem starts there. The more you swallow down in stress, emotions, insults, pain, worries, fear, doubt, the worse you're going to get. You need to be able to live. You need to say, I am somebody. I'm strong. And tell yourself right now, I'm strong. Even you don't need to say it out loud. You can tell yourself in your mind, I'm strong. See yourself moving toward a wall of bricks and shooting through this wall of bricks, shooting the bricks away and walking through it, and say, I'm strong and I'm free. And feel how this feels if you see the bricks shattering and you stepping through it, moving forward. See how you feel how you feel. And you will feel instantly. It doesn't matter if you do something physically or just emotionally. You can also get even mentally, emotionally. You don't need to necessarily get even with the person in the physical world. And so for me to have a person mentally in the IBMS state, I created a special state where the human brain, the human neurology, the human body is in an extremely, totally relaxed, but mentally, emotionally strong state, so that they can literally, in their mental world, get rid of all their problems, all their fears, worries, and doubts. They can face their fears and do what they fear to do in their minds 21 times in a row, based on Ivan Pavlov's recognition that everything he did this experiment with the dogs and the bell. If you have a strong emotional experience within repetition of 21 times, probably connected to some kind of a trigger, so that you can use a trigger whenever you needed to, like he used the bell whenever he fed the dogs. And later he figured out after 21 times, I just need to ring the bell and the saliva, the digestive tract of the dog starts to work even if there's no food or not the time to eat. The same happens with us, with our neurophysiology. Our neurology can be trained for strength. That's how I trained world champions and winners in the Olympics. Mentally, emotionally, where I trained one of the most successful German golfers when he was all of a sudden from being extremely successful going down to one of the lowest places. He got back up within a week, and I trained him. I cannot play golf, so I trained him mentally and emotionally based on his own experiences And 21 repetitions with a highly emotional state will make you permanently strong in that situation. Or use a trigger, say yes to yourself, say, I am somebody. Mentally break through this wall and say, I am somebody, I'm strong, I'm powerful. And if you repeat this 21 times, and then you just say to yourself later, I'm powerful, I'm strong, I'm free, this exactly will happen in you. You get the emotions that will lead you to self-confidence, to therefore behave different. It's also important when you talk to your doctor that you don't let them talk you into something. And most of all, if you say to your doctor after the diagnosis of cancer, I'm not doing chemo, radiation, or surgery right now, they usually try to push you in it. In many cases, they already have a list of people that provide wigs for if your hair falls out due to the chemotherapy, or they already say, I already made you an appointment with a colleague of mine, somebody I trust, for the chemotherapy. Don't go for that stuff. You have to say, wait a second, I have to research this, I will find out what it means, I will get a second, third, fourth opinion on that, and then I will act. So don't try to push me into something that I didn't have the time to really think about or make my mind up about. Nobody let no don't let anybody talk you into something you have a bad feeling about it. And I don't think that anybody ever had a good feeling about getting chemotherapy or radiation or their breasts slaughtered off with all the lymph nodes. Your lymph nodes are basically, it's basically a physical immune system. We have 4 times more lymph liquid than blood, so if they take the lymph nodes out, which is the chemical plant to filter out the poisons, how can you get better? You cannot get better by getting your immune system partially or fully cut out or damaged or destroyed by any kind of treatment. And I'm not telling you to not do anything you decide you want to do or your doctor tells you to do, and then you say, okay, I want to do that. If you are in that category, please do whatever you feel is right for you, but always get a second or third opinion, always. And most of all, consult a naturopathic doctor, doctor of naturopathic medicine, a naturopath, a homeopath. Get a different view on these things, because there are countless natural cancer cures out there. I think I have 400 different cancer cures in my book, The Only Cancer Patient Diet, and it's very often very simple. It's just eating apricot seeds a day, or having local honey with cinnamon on it, a tablespoon a day. It's not that complicated. 21 grams of vitamin C intravenously 21 days in a row should get rid of, at least in my experience, most of the cancerous growth. But you also need to understand that the tumor is your friend. The tumor is there to cure you or prevent you from dying. If you have so many poisons in your system that your body is dying on it, the body creates a bag. That's what's called a tumor. It collects all the poisons from the body into itself. That's why they say a cancerous tumor is always extremely poisonous and toxic in the inside. Of course it is. It works years or tens of years to collect all the poison that's trying to kill you out of your body, and basically builds a capsule to protect you from it. So that's why usually when they do a needle biopsy in a woman with breast cancer, they pinch into the tumor or into the lymph node that's collecting the poison, and it floods out into your entire system. And usually in a few days or weeks, the cancer patient is massively worse off than before, and very often dead in 2 to 3 weeks, because all the poisons get spread into the system. So you have to make your own decisions. I'm not your doctor, therefore I cannot give you any suggestions or medical advice. But if you want advice about my experience, you can become a member of the IBMS Master Society, my self-help organization. We have 196,000 members in Germany, and they are all healthy or got healthy. They are all happy. They are all financially independent. So the IBMSusa.com, become a member, and you can get live answers from me on the phone every 2 weeks. We have members meetings every 6 months, and I have on that website secret information that I cannot and will not provide on these platforms, because it leads just to the fact that I and my work gets censored again and deplatformed, and like all my colleagues that have suffered in that way, I don't want to be there anymore, because I was censored and basically taken off the air radio, video. I had an extremely successful radio show, the Dr.Coldwell opinion, and the membership grew from 0 to 5,000 within a week, and to 50,000 within 3 weeks. And then I was just cut off. My email provider, Startmail, was so horrifically criminal, in my opinion, that they just basically, after they listened to one of my radio shows, they just cut off my email and said they're not supporting what I'm doing or what I'm saying as email providers. So they're very dangerous. So we lost all the data, we lost all the email addresses by this illegal act. And so please make sure you learn again to believe in yourself. Believe in yourself like a little kid. If somebody says, "Can you play the piano?" you just say yes. And then you can even say, "By the way, what is a piano?" Because there's nothing you cannot do. You might not be able to do it right now, but you can learn and you can do it. Can you speak 7 languages? Of course you can, if you really want to. Doesn't mean that you don't speak 7 languages right now. You cannot do that. You can do everything. Can you get healthy? Of course. Can you cure yourself? Of course. You're the only person that can make yourself sick. You're the only person who can cure yourself. Don't believe in dogmatism. Don't believe in gurus. Don't believe in the mass media that's basically spreading the main fear or the belief system: if you have cancer, you're going to die. It's completely absurd. I have cured over and over and over again cancer patients in 12 days. I have created spontaneous healings over and over again. And I'm not saying I can create spontaneous healing in every case, but I have created it, I have seen it, I know it's possible. And if somebody that has a tumor size of a fist and his tumor disappears within 3 days between x-rays in his hospital, that's something I believe in. And your mind is the strongest and best computer out there. Don't believe in this AI stuff. It might help to get you information fast, but it's not faster or better or more efficient than your brain combined with your instinct. So instinct-based medicine system, IBMS. And my website is drleonardcoldwell.com. Doctor spelled out. My personal email is ibms@drleonardcoldwell.com. So if you have questions, you want to know something, write me ibms@drleonardcoldwell.com or become a member of the IBMS Master Society USA. So it's ibmsusa.com, or just write me personally and I will answer you. It might take a while. We get up to 1,200 emails a day, but I'm going to answer you, or for colleagues that I trained will answer you and we might give you referrals to people I trust. So my dear friends, hang in there, be strong, and you can do it. You're born for success. You're not born for mediocrity. You're not born for losing. You're born to win. And if you really put yourself in the right position, sit up or stand up outright, slap yourself on the chest, open your arms and say, I am somebody. I am here to win. This is my life. And if you get up in the morning, jump out of the bed, spread your arms and say, this is my life, your life will change within seconds. Please, my dear friends, be strong, believe in yourself. You are a child of God. You can do everything you want and achieve everything you are after. That was your Dr. Leonard Coldwell, better known as Dr. C.